In the heart of Kolkata, an Indian city renowned for its vibrant culture and historic landmarks, a horrific crime unfolded that sent shockwaves across the world. On August 8, 2024, Dr. Moumita Debnath, a 31-year-old postgraduate trainee doctor at R.G. Kar Medical College, became the victim of a brutal assault. What was meant to be a regular night at the hospital turned into a nightmarish ordeal that would forever alter the lives of many. Dr. Moumita Debnath was a respected medical resident, admired for her dedication and professionalism. With a promising career ahead, she was known for her compassion and commitment to her patients. Her colleagues and students held her in high regard, unaware that her life would soon be marred by unspeakable violence. R.G. Kar Medical College, established in 1916, is one of the premier medical institutions in India. The college has long been a beacon of medical excellence, but on August 8, 2024, its reputation would be tainted by a crime that shattered its peaceful environment. On that fateful night, Dr. Debnath was working a late shift. After completing a grueling 36-hour shift, she had dinner with her colleagues and retired to a seminar room to rest before heading home. Exhausted from her long hours, she settled in, expecting a brief respite. At around 11 p.m., she prepared to leave the hospital. But somewhere between the corridors and the exit, fate took a dark turn. She never made it home. The next morning, at approximately 9:30 a.m., her lifeless body was discovered in the seminar room, bearing multiple injuries that pointed towards a horrific act of violence. Her clothes were in disarray, and there were visible signs of a struggle. Initially, the hospital authorities informed her family that she had committed suicide, a claim that would soon be disproven by damning forensic evidence. When police and forensic teams arrived, they found Dr. Debnath in a state of severe trauma. The forensic team meticulously collected DNA samples, fingerprints, and analyzed the surveillance footage from the hospital's security cameras. The entire hospital was placed under lockdown as investigators searched for clues. An autopsy was conducted on August 9, 2024, confirming the worst. Dr. Debnath had been subjected to extreme physical violence before being strangled to death. The 4-page autopsy report painted a grim picture of her final moments. The findings were shocking. Deep wounds in her genital tract, bruises on her lips, left leg, right hand, ring finger, neck, and face. The scratches on her face suggested that she had fought desperately against her attacker. The most chilling revelation was that she had been strangled with enough force to fracture her thyroid cartilage. A white, thick, viscid liquid, weighing 151 grams, was found in her endocurvical canal, a detail that further confirmed rape. There was also bleeding in her eyes, mouth, and genitals, with the injuries in her genital area described as a result of perverted sexuality and genital torture. The extent of the injuries left little room for doubt. This was not just a murder, it was an act of calculated cruelty. With growing pressure from the public and media, the police launched an extensive investigation, analyzing CCTV footage, mobile tower records, and forensic evidence found at the crime scene. CCTV footage from the hospital's corridors became the turning point. Around 11 p.m. on August 8th, a shadowy figure was seen lurking near the seminar room where Dr. Debnath had gone to rest. The footage, though grainy, captured a man entering the room and exiting an hour later, appearing agitated. Investigators enhanced the video and identified the suspect as Sanjoy Roy, a 33-year-old civic volunteer with the Kolkata police. Roy's name had surfaced earlier in witness statements. Several hospital staff recalled seeing him near the seminar room around the time of the crime, though he had no official duty there that night. His erratic behavior in the following hours further raised suspicion. He was seen nervously pacing near the hospital exit, and some colleagues later reported that he had attempted to leave the premises in a hurry. The biggest breakthrough came when forensic teams analyzed the crime scene. Strands of hair, bloodstains, and partial fingerprints were recovered, all of which pointed to a struggle. The forensic report matched Roy's DNA to evidence found on the victim, leaving no doubt about his involvement. With this damning evidence, the police moved quickly. On the morning of August 10, 2024, a special police team raided Roy's residence. He was caught off guard, offering inconsistent explanations about his whereabouts that night. When confronted with the forensic evidence and CCTV footage, his story fell apart. The police arrested him on the spot and charged him with rape and murder. As the news of his arrest spread, outrage intensified. The fact that a civic volunteer, a person meant to assist in law enforcement, was responsible for such a heinous act fueled public anger. People demanded not just swift justice, but also a deeper inquiry into the recruitment and background checks of civic volunteers in law enforcement. Now, with Roy in custody, investigators pieced together the gruesome sequence of events. It became clear that he had been stalking Dr. Debnath for weeks, taking advantage of his access to the hospital. That fateful night, when he saw her resting alone in the seminar room, he seized the opportunity, unaware that his crime would soon be unraveled. Initially, there were speculations that multiple perpetrators were involved, but the Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, later ruled out gang rape, stating that only one individual was responsible. This revelation did little to quell public outrage. People demanded to know how a lone individual could have carried out such a brutal act within the premises of a medical institution without anyone noticing. One of the most disturbing aspects of the case was the initial attempt to dismiss the crime as a suicide. The hospital administration, instead of immediately acknowledging foul play, tried to deflect responsibility. For hours after Dr. Debnath's body was discovered, authorities delayed calling the police. Instead, her family was misled, and speculation of suicide was spread. Why? Many suspect that there was an effort to shield the institution from negative publicity. The Supreme Court of India soon took notice. Expressing concern over the delay in filing the FIR and the initial misclassification of the death, the court directed the CBI to take over the case. A national task force was established to develop protocols ensuring the safety of medical professionals across the country. The brutality of the crime sparked outrage across Kolkata and beyond. Students, faculty, and members of the public gathered for candlelight vigils to honor Dr. Debnath and demand justice. Social media erupted with the hashtag number Justice for Moumita, drawing national and international attention. Medical professionals across India began protesting, demanding better security in hospitals. Women's rights activists also joined the movement, calling for harsher punishments for sexual violence and institutional negligence. As the investigation continued, controversy erupted when opposition parties accused the authorities of tampering with evidence. A video surfaced.
Now, receiving this information, the students were very much agitated because they feel that they were tampering with evidences.
A video surfaced allegedly showing individuals at the crime scene shortly after the body was discovered. Critics claimed this was an attempt to manipulate forensic evidence. However, the police dismissed these claims, stating that the footage did not depict the actual crime scene. Despite the denials, many remained skeptical. With growing distrust in the system, the public demanded full transparency in the trial proceedings. The trial of Sanjoy Roy, the accused in the tragic rape and murder of Dr. Moumita Debnath, has been a focal point of national attention, reflecting widespread public outrage and the demand for justice. The proceedings have unfolded with significant developments, including appeals for the death penalty and discussions on systemic reforms. On January 20, 2025, the Sealdah Sessions Court in Kolkata convicted Sanjoy Roy, sentencing him to rigorous life imprisonment until the end of his natural life. This verdict followed a comprehensive trial where the prosecution presented compelling forensic evidence and witness testimonies, establishing Roy's sole responsibility for the crime. The defense, despite efforts to challenge the evidence, was unable to counter the overwhelming case against Roy. In the wake of the conviction, there has been a surge of public demand for the death penalty. The Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, and the state government have appealed for a harsher sentence, arguing that the brutality of the crime warrants capital punishment. The Supreme Court of India has taken cognizance of the case and is scheduled to hear a suo motu petition regarding the sentencing, amid growing calls for the death penalty. Dr. Debnath's family, while devastated by their loss, have expressed a desire for justice without seeking the death penalty for Roy. They believe that the highest trial court punishment is sufficient and have called for the Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, to pursue justice for other potential perpetrators. Their focus remains on ensuring that all responsible parties are held accountable. The case has ignited nationwide protests, with medical professionals and students demanding enhanced security measures in hospitals and educational institutions. The International Trade Union Confederation, ITUC, Asia Pacific, has called for urgent action against gender-based violence, highlighting the need for systemic reforms to protect women in the workplace. In honor of Dr. Debnath's legacy, her family has established the Dr. Moumita Debnath Foundation. The foundation is dedicated to supporting victims of violence and advocating for improved safety measures in workplaces and educational institutions. It aims to continue Dr. Debnath's work in caring for others and promoting justice. The trial of Sanjoy Roy and the subsequent legal proceedings have underscored the urgent need for systemic reforms to prevent such tragedies. The collective efforts of the public, legal authorities, and Dr. Debnath's family continue to drive the pursuit of justice and the implementation of measures to protect individuals in vulnerable settings.